we see 3 smugglers had come to look for precious things buried under the stones. After searching for some time, finally a man found a hole in the ground. He immediately called his friends and then together they filled this hole with gas. In a few moments one of the men looked into the hole and suddenly a spider from inside bit him. The man started screaming in pain and here many spiders came out of the hole. The smugglers started capturing them in plastic boxes. Now the condition of the man who was bitten by the spider was continuously deteriorating, so the others took pity on him and killed him first. After some time we see that these spiders were being sold illegally all over the world in the name of precious pets. Then in France we see a man named Kaleb who had come to buy jewelry after selling some stolen things. Then the clerk took him to his office. Kaleb saw a spider in a plastic box. He liked this spider very much and he also bought it. After this he met his friend Mathies who was fond of stealing bicycles. Kaleb was a shoe dealer in which Mathies helped him find customers. Well, when Kaleb reached his home he saw that his sister Manon was busy repairing the house. Then he reached his room and got scared seeing the lights off. He immediately turned on the lights and then we see that he had a lot of precious pets who were alive only with the help of the warmth of the light. Now Kaleb kept this new spider in a shoebox. After this, Kaleb scolded Manon again for turning off the light because this could kill his pets. Upon this, Manon started shouting at him because the electricity bill was very high due to him. On the other hand, in Kaleb's room, that spider had come out by making a hole in the box. After a few hours when Kaleb returned home he turned on the lights again. Then as soon as he opened the box he realized that the spider had run away. So he started searching for it in the whole room like mad. But then he found a spider's egg which he hid in a box and went to sleep comfortably on the sofa. Then the next morning when Manon woke up Kaleb, he saw that one of his friends was helping him fix his bathroom. Now Kaleb reached Tom with new sneakers without taking a bath, but then a man named Gillis saw them. He thought that he was smuggling drugs under the guise of sneakers and he told Kaleb that he was keeping an eye on him. Later Tom hid in the supplies room and wore new sneakers, but suddenly something bit his foot. He immediately took off his shoes. When he looked inside the sneaker a spider came out and started crawling on his arm. Tom got scared and threw it on the ground and attacked it with the sneaker and killed it. After this, when he looked inside the sneaker again, hundreds of small spiders suddenly came out and started walking all over Tom's body, due to which he got very scared and here his dog picked up the biggest spider from the ground and ate it. On the other hand, when Kaleb reached back to his room he saw that his friends were staring at his pets. Actually, they did not know that Kaleb used to buy illegal insects. Then Kaleb started getting continuous calls from Tom, but he did not pay attention. Finally, after everyone left, he closed the door and stuck a towel in the space left below. Then he called Tom, but he did not pick up the phone because he was in terrible pain. There were strange wounds on his skin and yellowish tears were coming out of his eyes. As soon as he stood up and tried to pick up the phone, suddenly he slipped and fell and all the glass utensils kept their fell on him. Now he was bleeding due to glass shards pricking him everywhere. After some time, Tom's dog kept barking continuously for a long time, causing a lot of trouble for the neighbors. They called Tom and even knocked on his door, but he did not respond. Finally, Gillis broke down the door and upon seeing the scene inside, everyone was shocked. Soon the police were called, but even they could not understand how Tom had died. When the neighbors saw the policemen wearing masks, they all got even more scared. Then a debate started among the people that how did Tom die? Some said that he was addicted to drugs. He has died of overdose, but finally the police somehow calmed them down and sent them back to their homes. And for everyone's safety the police forbade anyone from leaving the building. The police said that if anyone has any disease then the doctor will come here, wait for it. Then everyone saw Tom's dead body going in front of their eyes and then everyone returned to their homes. Then Kaleb and his friends brought Tom's dog with them and started thinking what could have happened. Manon asked if Kaleb really sold drugs by hiding them in his shoes and Kaleb got very angry on hearing this. On the other hand we see Zhao who went to keep the stuff in the supply room and then her eyes fell on the ceiling which was filled with spider webs. Now she put a cloth on her mouth and started spraying repellent in the whole room, but she did not see that many spiders had already come out through the web. In a few moments these spiders came out in Kaleb's bathroom where Jordy's girlfriend Lila was washing her hands. Suddenly her eyes fell on the lid lying on the ground. When she lifted the lid and climbed on a stool and started putting it back. Unfortunately her foot slipped and she fell down. Now she stood up somehow and saw that a towel was moving. She shook the towel but there was nothing there. Then suddenly a spider jumped on Lila and she got very scared and hid in the shower. She started shouting for help. Then Jordy came to help her, but he did not want to kill it, so he decided to capture the spider with the help of a glass. But then the spider jumped and hid under the sink. Soon his other friends also came to the bathroom. Everyone started giving him different advice. Then Jordy's mind got dizzy and he took a mop and started moving it under the sink with force so that the spider dies. But soon the spider climbed on the mop and jumped on the shower. Then Jordy threw a towel on it and made it fall down. Now he started crushing it with his shoes to kill it. In a few moments he picked up the towel and everyone was shocked because many small spiders ran away from there. During this time, big spiders started coming out of the shower mesh. Lila got scared. Jordy immediately took her out of the bathroom and then they quickly closed the door and sealed it with tape. After this, they asked Kaleb to tell the whole truth. Then finally Kaleb confessed that he had bought an illegal spider. But he said that the spider I bought was much smaller than this. Then Mathis said that its children are growing fast by adapting to the environment here. Now Kaleb picked up the box containing spider eggs, and as soon as Jordy opened it, it was also filled with an army of spiders. Then Mathis quickly sealed this box with tape. During this time we see that Zhao was still cleaning the building and she found a dead spider. At the same time the police came back and announced that all the people living in the building will have to stay in quarantine, and then they sealed the door outside the building. When Zhao went further, she found even more big spider webs in the corridor in which even birds were trapped. Now she climbed the stairs to the roof and opened the lid of a panel. As soon as she looked inside, there were nests of spiders. Now Zhao covered her face and used the repellent once again. Then she looked inside again with the help of a flashlight, but then a spider jumped on her face and she fell down the stairs in fear. Meanwhile, in Kaleb's house, Lila, Manon and Jordy decided to leave the building, disobeying the orders of the police. But Mathis decided to stay there because the police were already looking for him on theft charges. Kaleb also decided to stay because he wanted to support the neighbors in difficult times. But when his friends repeatedly persuaded him to leave from here, Kaleb agreed. But he also told all the other neighbors that they can also leave from here. After this we see another apartment where a man was exercising while listening to the music. As soon as he looked in the mirror he realized that there was a spider behind him, but as soon as he turned he saw that the spider had gone somewhere. He searched his room for a while. He saw a spider on a wall. Now he attacked the spider with full force, but in the process a hole was created in the wall. As soon as he looked into the hole he saw a lot of webs and suddenly an army of spiders attacked him. He screamed for help, but his father was sleeping in the other room so he could not hear his screams. Meanwhile, Mathis and Kaleb were going door to door, advising the neighbors to run away. But everyone was so scared that they did not even want to come out. Well, they also knocked on the door of the man who was exercising, but due to the loud sound of the songs, they could not hear his screams. After this, Kaleb got scared and went to see Claudia, but she did not open the door. He could hear the sound of TV from inside, so he broke the door and saw that she was sleeping on the sofa. As soon as he went closer to see Claudia, hundreds of spiders came out from her body. Seeing this, Kaleb and Mathis got scared and ran away from there, but then an old man came in front of them who asked him for help. Mathis came forward to help him, but Kaleb stopped him because this man was bitten by a spider. Now they asked this man to go back to his house and immediately ran away from there. On the other hand, Lila was changing news channels on TV repeatedly at home, but she did not see any news of their building anywhere. Then Jordy did research on the internet and found out that these are spiders of the Sicariidae species, which can increase their body size up to 10 times to fight their enemies. Here Manon checked social media. There was no warning from the government here as well, but only the people of the building were tweeting after getting fed up with the quarantine. Then suddenly they heard the sound of glass breaking from the kitchen, and then Jordy saw that a strange liquid was flowing from behind the door. As soon as he looked inside, he realized that Tom's dog had died and a spider was coming out of his stomach. With this, the atmosphere of the whole building started deteriorating soon. In that apartment, the father of that man found the dead body of his son. Here the old man was catching spiders and glasses, but soon he was also killed. Because of these spiders, people were getting killed on every floor. Well, when Mathis and Kaleb returned to their house, their friends were outside. They wanted to run away from here at that very moment, and no one was ready to go back inside. Then suddenly Gillis came from behind them and attacked them with a stick. First he injured Kaleb and then started beating Mathis. Manon tried to calm him down. Gillis shouted at them and asked them to go back to their house. Then Gillis said that Jordy and Lila should not be here because they do not live in this building. After this, Gillis forcefully started entering Kaleb's room because he still suspected that Kaleb smuggles drugs and other illegal things. But when the others tried to stop Gillis, his suspicion increased even more. Then Kaleb got angry and allowed him to enter the room. Gillis searched the room and found the same sealed box. Then he broke it with his knife. As soon as he opened the box, all the spiders suddenly came out. Meanwhile, Kaleb and his other friends ran away from the house. They closed the door from outside to stop the spiders, but poor Gillis died in agony inside. After this, they all ran up the stairs and found huge spider webs in every corner. Finally, they reached a corridor which was completely covered with webs and there were very big spiders in it. Well, now they all had to reach the garage, so they ran to the lower floor, but there were even more dense webs and spiders there. Now they had no other option, so they covered their heads and started moving forward in the corridor. Meanwhile, Manon stayed behind and took the responsibility of handling the lights. Actually, when the lights were on, the spiders stayed away. Now somehow they all crossed the corridor and now it was Manon's turn, but as soon as she reached the end of the corridor, the lights went off and she got trapped in the webs. Now she lit her lighter and saw that a spider in the corridor. The spider was coming close to her, but if she burns it, the other spiders will also attack her, so she ran to the end of the corridor in a moment. Finally, they tried to get out from there, but the police had closed the door from outside. The police did not pay any attention to their pleas for help. Now all of them put in all their strength and opened the door a little, but the police released gas on them from this spot. But they still kept on trying to open the door, so the police started firing at the door. Now they had no choice, so they ran back from that secret corridor and reached the stairs. Luckily, the spiders did not attack them because of this gas, but then they realized that Jordy was nowhere to be seen. Now Kaleb, risking his life, entered the corridor again and found that Jordy was lying on the ground and was entangled in webs and spiders. Jordy asked Kaleb to go back, but Kaleb was not ready to leave him alone, but now those spiders are coming to attack him too. So he had to run back unwillingly. Meanwhile, Lila broke down in tears over the loss of her boyfriend, but then Mathis noticed a strange liquid. As soon as he looked up, his eyes were wide open because many corpses were trapped in the webs on the roof. Apart from this, a huge spider was coming out of the web. Mathis immediately informed his friends and they all ran away, leaving Jordy alone and closes the door. Now all of them reached an empty room, but Lila kept trying to run to save her boyfriend. Manon stopped her with great difficulty, and then they all heard Jordy's painful screams. Then Mathis' eyes fell on a bag kept on the ground, inside which some fire sticks were present. Here, everyone else was crying in the grief of Jordy's death. So Mathis asked them to keep up their courage because right now they have to get out of here safely. He was sure that with the help of fire, they can keep the spiders away and can reach the roof and ask for help. Mathis was the first to do so. A firecracker was lit in the corridor, the explosion of which scared all the spiders stuck on the ceiling and they froze there. After this, they all started crossing the corridor carefully by making the firecrackers as a shield. As soon as the fire of the fire stick was extinguished, Kaleb took out a petrol bomb from his bag and threw it in the corridor, after which a fierce fire broke out and the spiders suddenly started running after them. After this, all of them immediately started climbing the stairs, and on the way, they tried to push the spiders back by lighting flashlights. Then they heard the voice of some people asking for help from an apartment, but all of them told them to stay inside the house and they themselves kept running. Now there was very little battery left in their flashlights, so Manon tried to open the lock of Gillis' house. In a few moments she was successful and now all of them entered Gillis' house and they closed the door before the spiders came inside. After a while, Kaleb started regretting a lot because he felt that he was the real reason behind the terror of the spiders. Then suddenly a light came on the window and in a few moments, police officers forcefully entered the house. Kaleb asked them to help the neighbors, but the police did not listen to him at all, and to silence him, one of the officers slapped him. Now Kaleb also attacked him and the policeman got angry and started beating him by throwing him on the ground. Manon tried hard to save his brother, but the policeman pushed her too. Meanwhile, Mathis got into a fight with another policeman and soon a fierce fight broke out between the two groups. Then an officer attacked Mathis with pepper spray and started strangling him. Just in the nick of time, Kaleb picked up a gun lying on the ground and killed the policeman and saved his friend's life. On the other hand, the other policeman threw the two girls in a corner and attacked them with gas. Here 2 officers together controlled Kaleb, and finally the police arrested all of them and took them to the garage. Then we see that the policemen were already looking for a way to fight the spiders in the garage. Meanwhile, a special team was examining the body of the dead spiders. Their lead officer said that Kaleb and his group were about to ruin their mission. He said that whatever they had done till now was to help the people in the building, but Kaleb said that they had not completed their duty, and he kept shouting at the policemen. At that moment, suddenly Matthew started coughing badly, and then it was revealed that he was bitten by a spider. Now he did not have much time left, but he decided that he would help his friends before dying. Matthew got up and went to the generator and turned it off, due to which the light of the entire building went off. Then he jumped on the policeman present at the door and removed him and opened the main door. In a few moments, hundreds of spiders entered inside, and the policeman started firing heavily on them. Soon the spiders overpowered the policemen and started killing them too. Then Kaleb and the 2 girls took advantage of this opportunity and ran away from there. Soon Lila and Kaleb hid behind a car, but then they realized that they had left Manon behind. Well, now Lila took out her lighter, and with the help of the lighter, Kaleb's handcuffs were opened, and then they saw that the spiders had killed another man. Then Kaleb asked Lila to hide in a car, and he himself went to find his sister. He reached his sister escaping from all this chaos, but during this time he got shot in his leg. Then Manon picked up a fire extinguisher and broke the window of a van and hid in the van with Kaleb. Then she applied ointment on Kaleb's wound and apologized for her mistakes. Soon many spiders came to the window, but before they could enter the car, Lila turned on the lights of the car and scared them. After this, both the brother and sister ran away from the car, and while avoiding the police and spiders on the way, they reached Lila's car. Lila turned the car at the same moment, and while coming out she hit many cars and policemen. But as soon as Kaleb got out of the car to open the exit door, a very big spider stood blocking their way. For a moment he felt that now Kaleb's game was over, but none of them moved, and Lila even switched off the car lights. After which the spider quietly went away from there. After this, Kaleb immediately opened the outside door, and all of them somehow saved their lives and went out. With this the movie ends.